Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to a live training today. So I totally changed my intro. I don't know if you guys noticed that towards the end of the video clip, there's a bell that indicates it's time to go to class. And like growing up, I remember I used to it sounds like the school bell, like recess. Yeah, so I love it. Took me a while to find that piece that I actually like, right? This is something that you do. You spend a lot of time of creating and finding the pieces that you love, and you put it out there into the world, and hopefully that someone will resonate with it. And lo and behold, if they don't, right, it's really discouraging because I love the bell, like the recess bell. Come on, guys. Right. So if you resonate with that, if that feels like, a lot of time what you're doing, finding those pieces that you love, but you threw it out there and no one really like in common. If that sounds like you, put a blue heart for me. Just put a blue heart for me if you resonate with that. If you are joining me live, go ahead and give me a red heart. And if you're watching this as a replay, please drop a purple heart today. Yeah, purple heart for replay, red heart for joining me live, and a blue heart if you resonate with the message that sometimes, no matter what you put out there, if it's very discouraging when no one likes it or comment on it, and you're just sitting there and wondering, okay, people, come on and come on. Right? If you are new to me, I am Michelle Quay. I am the creator of this group, Visibility Confidence Lounge, and I help women coaches to tell a better story so that they can go out and get seen, get heard, and get higher. And the way that we do it is by content creation. So you are watching this live training video because today we're going to talk about the buyer's journey. And true story, I was just talking to one of our member, Amanda, And we had talked about, this initial funneling, about how to take a client or a customer through a journey. And what do we what type of journey are they on? So it's not just about life journey or business journey that you are on. In marketing world, there's actually a terminology called funnel. How do we funnel the clients into our space, into our business, and getting so excited they wanted to love and enjoy our posts and binge watch every video that we create? That is the funnel, and that is the buyer's journey. So today our topic is, what is the buyer's journey and why do you need it? As a coach, you probably haven't thought about, and this is true for me too, because marketing is not my thing. I spent 20 years in healthcare profession, and as a healthcare provider, it is my job to just provide the information for consumer, you, who comes into the pharmacy, who come to my counter. I'm giving you options that you can choose. Now, how you want to choose it, it's entirely up to you, right? So you don't see a pharmacist going behind the counter and say, "Hey, Michelle, I think that vitamin C is great for you. Here's a vitamin C. Take it and buy it. You're gonna feel so good about yourself." I don't do that. What I do as a healthcare professionals, I provide information for people so that they can make the most conscious choice for themselves. And I give them all the list of side effects. I give them all the list of things that to look out for. And I give them instruction on how to take it. Right. That is my job. And so when I transitioned into full time coaching, it was a struggle. It's a struggle because for me, marketing is brand new, something that entirely new to me. I have never wanting to, number one, to promote. Right, there's marketing has a lot of to do with promoting yourself and marketing yourself. And traditionally, that marketing means that you have to go out there, you have to sell your product. Hey, I have this one-on-one coaching, it's great, here's a book a call with me, please just go ahead and click that button. And you'll notice that throughout the time, that strategy doesn't really work. It may work to some individuals, where you start to get noticed that your button is getting clicked a lot because it's just out there, right? So visibility is being out there. But what you'll also notice is that the people who actually click that call button are actually not very committed, or they're not ready to buy, or they have all tons of excuses in their life, other priorities, and they have other things, other appointment. So what you end up getting is, on your discovery call, you have a lot of unnecessary things that you have to sort through. Is this person interested? So the get around with it is that sometimes you can, the way that you get around with it is actually create a call button that would actually allow you to include an intake form. So the intake form, you would ask questions as to, why is this a good time for you? What is it that you're looking to achieve? What are your goals, right? So you, right off the bat, you're filtering out some of the unintentional or uncommitted buyers, and because you don't want them to fill up your calendar with all these time slot, and either they don't show up, or maybe they do show up but they're not interested to buy. So you wanted to eliminate all that and doing the extra footwork to get people actually excited about what is it that you have to offer. So having this understanding of how your customer come in contact with you, and walking them through that journey, and you're providing the information, and finally get to the end point of, all right, so here are two bottles of vitamin. Which one is good for me? Is it A or is it B? Is it from coach A or is it from coach B? Right. So you're helping them to decide that final step of decision making by inviting them to come into the pharmacy in the first place. So how do we do that? And so if we were to paint the whole entire picture of the buyer's journey, there we can divide it into three stages. And you can Google this. There's tons of information out there. If you type in buyer's journey, content marketing, this is everywhere. And it's kind of like a standard practice, if you will. And you can actually observe this. from a lot of different coaches, even the six figures and seven figure coaches. This is a strategy that everybody tend to use. Now, I am going to share what are some of the things that I personally keep in back of the mind when you use these strategy. Okay, so there are three stages in the buyer's journey. The first stage is brand awareness. Are people aware of what you do? Do they know that you just decided to become a coach? Do they know where to find you? Do they know that you have a podcast? Do they know that you have a website? Right? So it's that initial stage of becoming aware of who you are, what is it that you do, and who do you help with. So a couple of days ago, I have leave a post in the group here to ask you to give me a one sentence of your I help statement. So you can actually go back to the I would encourage you to go back to that post and really share about your I help statement. What that does is a couple of things. Number one, you're going to help me with engagement. You can help me with engagement, right? Because more people commenting on it. So it would bring the group to be more visible. So that's number one. Number two is you're giving yourself the opportunity to present yourself as a coach and who you help with, right? So you give people one I help statement every time someone encourages you to do so, then go ahead and by all means jump on it, right? Because you never know who's going to be watching, who's going to be reading. So go and have your visibility and having that initial awareness of who you are by participating in these type of engagement posts. Now, once you, what I don't recommend is jumping on the follow to follow trend. The follow to follow trend, those of you who's not familiar with the term, it's basically there are social media posts that's out there and encouraging people to you jump on this and follow the person before you, or follow that person, or just follow everybody who's on the thread. The problem with that is that you're not actually breaking the Facebook algorithm. You're not breaking any type of algorithm. What you're breaking is you're actually telling the post to indicate that, hey, these are the type of posts I want to see more. So essentially, if let's say your ideal client is not a coach, right, then you're going to see a lot of more coaches posts because you like the post. You like the post. And so the social media is thinking, this is a way for me to share more information about the coach's world for this person because that's what she or he likes. She commented on it. She liked the post. So let me show her more. So you'll notice there's a continuous trend of seeing your friends post, seeing your peer coaches post, and that's a bad way of breaking the algorithm. So do not do. I would discourage you to do the follow by follow train. Okay. What you want to do is actually make introductions. So there are posts like, oh, who do you help? Go and introduce yourself. Every group that you join to create that initial brand awareness, every group that you join, I bet you that 99% of the group admin would invite you to do an introduction about yourself. Take that opportunity and go and introduce yourself, because number one, you would never know who is watching, who's reading this post. Number two is you want to make sure that you support the group admin by helping that person to increase their engagement, to increase their visibility. So you're creating a win-win situation for everybody, right? So you're helping the group member to have that visibility, to make sure that the group is visible. And by doing so, the group admin is going to start noticing you if you comment more. And I kid you not, so I have done this in multiple group, and some of the group admin would actually lock my post. Because the more that you're out there, the more people are aware of who you are. And if you're in a similar group as their audience, they might feel a little threatened, right? So they might actually block your message altogether. So I have done it a couple of times because I'm like so inside the group and providing values. And so when I say providing value, it's not just about sharing the links. It's not just about promoting yourself. It's actually reading through what people are struggling with and help them. Give them some insight. What do you know that they might find it helpful. So do that, right? Without sharing the links, there's so many ways that you can do it very elegantly. You can share from your experience, share from your personal stories, share from your own struggles, and that is going to resonate with the people that you're helping, and they will want to connect with you. I can tell you that I have not shared any links anytime that I am in these type of groups. I would just go and comment, and people would want to add me as a friend, and that's how I get people. So do the same. That's how you create brand awareness without sounding like a promotion, without promoting yourself. Okay, so that's stage number one. That initial awareness. How do you make people, how do you introduce yourself so that more people would get to know you, more people would know what is it that you do. And the other tip that I wanted to leave you with this is that when you create links, okay, write something about the links. If you are sharing a website, what is this website about? Who are you? Right? So instead of just sharing a link, at least write a one liner introduction about who you are, who do you help, what is it that you do, and then share the links. So that when I come across and I'm looking for information, I know exactly whether or not this post is for me. I know exactly whether or not this comment is for me, right? If you don't tell me that you're helping women who struggle with confidence, then I'm just gonna scroll through, and I don't have the impulse in clicking on the link to go see and go find out what it is about. But if you use some of the keywords like lacking confidence, or you're helping people with visibility, then it's going to spark the interest if that's what I'm looking for. If I'm looking for increasing my visibility, then I am going to click on that link. I'm going to come and join your group, right? So same idea. Don't just share a link. And this is why every Tuesday, I have a promotional day where you get to introduce yourself, you get to share your links, you get to promote or market yourself to create that brand awareness. And very few people take that opportunity. And I only have it on Tuesday. So you got to take your opportunity when it is being offered. Introduce yourself, share your links, tell us exactly why we should care, right? That is your brand awareness. Now, someone in the audience, you never know who, when, and what might trigger that buying. They wanted to know more about what you do. So keep that in the back of your mind. And that is stage number one of a buyer's journey. Stage number two of the buyer's journey is consideration. They started to consider, Michelle is creating great content. I really love her message. She's not pushy. She's not salesy. Let me just follow her a little more, see what she has to offer, right? So people are starting to consider becoming your friend. They're considering following you, binge watching you. They want all the information that you share, and because they're looking for information, and that this is a something that a lot of us actually do. Where do we go find information? We go to the trusted internet. Whether it's good or bad, that's a different topic, different training session, right? But all of us, when we need something, when you need a recipe, where do you go? You go to the social media, you go to the internet. You need to look for a doctor to go to visit. Where do you go? There's no yellow pages anymore. Where do you go? You go Google, like foot doctor nearby me. There you go. You go to the internet. So every pieces of information that you put out there is going to trigger some interest in terms of whether or not this piece of information is right for me. So people are starting to consume your information. They're trying to consume every pieces of content that you create, whether it's a blog post, whether it's a video, YouTube, anything, podcast, anything. They're looking for information. So your job as a coach is to provide that information. If you know something, share it. If you know how to overcome the negative self-talk, share it, right? Because people are looking for the information, and that is going to help them to start considering working with you by looking at your book a call with me call button. Until then, until the last stage, which is the decision making stage, people are not going to take any action. And that is, I want you to actually start thinking back about your own self, your own buyers habit. This is something I asked a couple. I think it was over the weekend. What is your buying habit? Who do you buy from? Probably someone, a brand that you already know. You probably have used it so many times and you know it works, you know it helps, and you like the overall look and feel of that product or service. So you go to that one first, right? Instead of those newer ones where you have to take your time and really try it out, using a trial version. Probably you're going to try it out before you actually decide this is right for me. Just changing a shampoo, can't tell you how many times I've switched over shampoo, and I always go to the same brand. I buy the Costco brand because every other brand I get allergic reaction to it. So I stick to one brand only. And the reason being, I have tried all these other brand, and this one really speaks to me. And that's my decision making, my purchasing decision making process. I want something that is familiar, something that I can trust, something that I know already. I know it's not gonna trigger any allergic response. Those are the things that will help me painting the picture of whether or not I want to buy it. So here are your three stages of buyer's journey: the awareness, consideration, and decision. So how does that apply to all of the content creation, and what is it that we do as coach? So as a coach, you probably don't have any marketing background. Even if you do, you might not have like these type of pieces, because now you're a solopreneur. And believe it or not, that's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, right? You may have, like, if you used to work in a company, maybe someone took care of a one portion, other person take care of another person, and you come together in the same room and you meet with each other. But now that you have your own business, you are and granted, if you are well off and maybe finance is not an issue, you might be able to hire on some outsource some individual really early on. But if you're someone like me, I start from scratch, I don't have enough funding, I can't hire anyone to help me, then you are on your own. You're gonna be on your own for a while. So how do you tie all these information, the brand awareness, consideration, and decision making, into a solopreneur life? And how do you create content around that so that it doesn't feel like overwhelming? It doesn't feel like you have to be all over the place in order to have that visibility or to book that first client. Okay, so what I'm teaching you is strategy that you can apply to just what you feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable in creating content on just one social media platform or using just one social media tool, that is what you do. That is what you go with. So you never want to listen to someone who said, Facebook is the answer to everything. No, not at all. You go what feels more comfortable, something that's easy, something that you can even create in your sleep. I know one of my clients, she loves reels, and she creates like whole bunch of reel in her bank, and she would just post them on Instagram. That's something that she feel easy to do so, right? So she can batch create a whole bunch of videos, store it in her bank, and when she needs it, she just use one of the reel, and she's creating content that way. And then we can talk about, like, how do you repurpose that one reel into other platform, like maybe a YouTube, maybe a TikTok, maybe write up a little post, and you can use that, repost that on LinkedIn and Facebook. So you're not constantly recreating everything. So you just go to one platform that feels comfortable, that feels easy, that feels like something that you can do. It doesn't feel like a stretch. Okay, so how do you incorporate all that as a solopreneur into your coaching business? So the awareness that we talked about. Number one is you want to create that awareness so that your audience can resonate with you. And how do you do that? Right? Sometimes we have this we post something that This is actually a true story. The other day, I was just browsing through my social media, which I do that a lot, and I came across someone who was saying they unsubscribed from an email marketing list because the moment that they open up the email, the first line was, "You are I know you are A, B, and C," and she took it very offensively because you don't know me, right? You have no idea who I am, and you're making a lot of assumptions. So she unsubscribed to it. And so a couple of things, right? When you create the awareness, be keep that in the back of your mind. Not everyone, number one, not everyone are going to be your audience. There are people who will like you, who likes you, and there will be people who will unsubscribe you without a doubt. And that's okay, right? Because you're not here to please everybody. You're not here to serve everyone. You're here to serve those who really need your help. So if you are on that receiver end of someone unsubscribing from you or someone who unfollow you, that's okay. It's all part of the journey. It's okay, right? Because again, we're not here for everybody. We're not everyone's cup of tea, but that's okay. That's just life. That applies to everything that we do. All right, but if you are writing your copies, how do you connect with your audience? This is the important part where I encourage all my clients to do is do a little market research. What you want to do during this time is actually to learn their lyrics. So every one of us sing. I know we all sing because we sing in the shower, we sing in our car. No matter where you are, we're singing, right? My favorite band would be The Journey, Don't Stop Believing. And so every time I'm singing in a car, I can sing that song. Don't stop believing, right? I can sing just a small town girl in living in the lonely world, right? I can sing that song. So I learned the lyrics of that song. So same thing in writing your copies. Number one, you gotta learn how people speak, how what words are people using. I hear a lot of these like buzzwords like high consciousness, true potential. Like, what the fuck is true potential means? Right? I just want to be able to reach my shelf. I never wanted to reach my full potential. How about just reaching to the shelf? That's good enough for me, right? So if you are, let's say if I am your client. If you speak, I'm gonna help you, Michelle, to reach your high potential. Okay, don't be joking me, right? Don't you don't don't even bother to talk to me. But if you were to talk to me about, hey, Michelle, I would love to help you to reach the top of the shelf without actually going to the top of the shelf. Ah, okay, I'm intrigued, right? Tell me more. So you got to start learning the language of your ideal soulmate clients and use those language so that you can target them specifically to address the problem that they have. And that is how you create that initial awareness, right? How do you get people to sing with you? You teach them the language that they need to, you teach them the lyric that they need to learn so that they can sing with you. If you don't introduce that lyrics to them, or if you don't learn their lyrics, then you can't sing the same song. It's the same idea, right? So if you're interested to karaoke with me, please put that in the comment. I would love to do a karaoke with you. Let's all go sing together. So that is how you create the awareness. When you're talking about the pain and the struggles that people are having, and keep that in the back of your mind. You are a human being, and so is the other person who's consuming your information. Put that person into the way that you create your content. Put that person into everything that you do on social media. When you're going to networking, put that person and really listen to that person first, and go from there, right? That is your initial brand awareness, how you make that relationship, building that relationship with people. You're talking about their struggles and your struggles, but at the same time, you're offering them a different perspective, you're offering them a different light. All right. So then we go down to the consideration portion, right? So once they become aware that you are a coach and here's what I'm struggling with, reaching their high potential, the next step would be taking them onto a journey where they can start thinking about working with you. And you introduce a whole list of problems to me, right? All the reason why I couldn't reach to the top of the shelf. I'm too short, too small, too down there, right? I don't see, my vision is not long enough, my vision is not high enough. All these problems that you have already painted for me, give me some solution, offer me some type of answers to how I can possibly reach to the shelf without actually climbing the shelf, right? So give me some solution in terms of how you plan to do that for me. And that is where the consideration portion comes in. You talked about the pain and struggles, and the next step would be the consideration, right? So you got to give people some type of solution. And it's just not, tip A, B, and C. You don't want to do that every single day. You actually want to write and entice them by telling them stories of how you were able to overcome it, or give them an example of how someone else is able to accomplish the same thing that you're talking about here. That is how you help people to take that consideration into wanting to work with you. All right, so we come to the last piece, which is the decision making, right? So decision making typically looks like a call to action. What is it that you want people to do after they read your information? What is it that, I'm holding two bottles of vitamin. What is it that I want people to do? I don't want to keep holding it. I want them to actually decide on doing something. Okay. So your call to action could be, all right, so which one do you want? Do you want this? Do you want vitamin A or do you want vitamin B? Make up your mind, right? And that's exactly what the call to action is. You just giving them the offer, let them know this is the way that they can work with you. How do you want to choose? And people by this time, if you actually taking your step through the awareness, the consideration, and you're creating content to nurture them, to share the tip, helpful information and helpful solution, then by the time you offer them something, people's going to want to try it out, people's going to want to do it, right? And this is something that I was just talking to Amanda earlier, is that you you don't want to keep throwing that links at their face. When you keep throwing a link, book a call with me, book a call with me. It's like throwing something that I'm not ready yet, but you keep throwing it at me, and it's going to turn off a lot of people, right? Because that to me is really promoting. It's about marketing. It's about salesy. It's about selling. Um, and a lot of people get turned off by it. So what you want to do is you want to have a variation of your call to action. Sometimes, your call to action based on what you have shared may be very appropriate and very well be just do something for yourself today. Right? That's a call to action. So it doesn't have to be like sharing the link to book a call with me or DM me every single time, because people will quickly tune you out. And what does it have anything to do with the content that you have posted? Probably nothing, right? Probably nothing has to do with the content that you actually are posting. So if you have spent your time in creating a beautiful content that talk about the pain point, that talk about the struggle, you did all the things that I told you to do about what, how, who, an example. If you follow through that format, by the end of the call to action, people already had their mind made up already. They either like you, they follow you, they want more of you, or they're just gonna tune you out. They don't care, right? So you already done all that. You really don't need to slap that book a call with me all the time. I'm not saying never, but not all the time. Okay. All right. Um, so we talked about the buyer's journey awareness. We talked about the consideration, and then we come to the decision making process. Now, depending on different stages, you can create content that focus on awareness. You can create content that focus on consideration, and you can create content that focus on call to action. So those of you who are following me, you either on my personal page or you're in the group, you've been seeing me for the last 7 days doing a lot of decision making posts, right? All these Brave Your Brand is getting you to actually make a decision. Either this is good for you, this is what you want, or this is not what you want. And that's okay, right? You're still here in the group and you're still following me. That's okay if you don't act today. And so throughout the journey, you're going to see there's going to be period where I just do purely decision making posts, posting on things that I am offering, posting on coaching service, posting on the Brave Your Brand Challenge, which is going live tomorrow. And today is the last day to sign up. So those of you who are still waiting for that decision making process, this is your last chance before I turn off the car. And the next one would be in the summertime. I don't know when yet, but this would be the spring class. So if you're interested, you can go to braveyourbrand.com, and today's the last day to sign up. So for the past 7 days, you saw a lot of that decision call to action post in this group and also in my personal page. And that's where the journey is, decision making, right? There's other stages where I walk you through, hopefully during the consideration phase, I am offering any tips and values, like right now doing this video. Hopefully this is going to help you whether you signed up with me or not. It's going to help you so that you can implement into your own coaching business. That's the intention for the consideration, to provide values, to provide tips, to provide things that you can really implement right now. So even if you decide to stay in the group for free, that's okay, right? Because it's all part of the journey that we're on: awareness, consideration, and then there's decision making process. So during the consideration phase is really the place where you want to nurture your audience, right? You can create templates, you can create ebook, you can create something like you can share your personal stories. These are the elements that's going to nurture your audience. People would get to know you, people would get to know how you work, how you operate, and this is where you start building that relationship. And every now and then, I have people reaching out to me, or I reach out people to just get to know people. Just get to know them. There are people in your group that you want to reach out and just say hello. I haven't seen you for a while. How are you doing? And that's all you're doing. You're just reaching out and just talking to people to build that initial relationship. Whether people buying from you or not, that is another day, another training session, right? That's the decision making, the call to action portion. But your intention behind what is it that you're posting, it needs to serve a purpose. And I cannot stress this enough. Everything that you put out into the world has to come from a purpose place. What do you plan for this post to do for people? What do you want people to walk away from reading this, from watching this? What is it that you're intended to do? If for any reason your intention is not clear and the post, the writing doesn't have a purpose, it's not serving anybody, then think twice, think about it again, right? So every post that you're creating, every content that you're creating, when you put it out there, is it just another piece of information, or is it a piece of information that is going to help your audience to actually experience that transformation that you had? And that is the intention behind the purpose of every post that you do. So that's a lot, right? That's a lot to do for a solopreneur. But trust me, once you start this journey, once you understand the process of how to have that awareness of what is it that you do, and walking them through your story, your personal journey, your triumph, and how you were able to overcome what you overcome. And you give them really helpful information like ebook templates, checklists, anything that would help them to have that initial tangible result. You don't even need to have a call to action because people's mind has already been made up. They already know that this is good for them. They don't even need you to share that calendar link, and they're going to be more than happy to take on any offers that you have, because they already know. So sometimes you'll even see, I don't have call to action all the time. I don't have a book a call with me. I don't have a work with me all the time. And you'll notice that a lot of coaches who are successfully using the content marketing and the storytelling marketing, we kind of follow the same rule, right? Because you're creating content, but sometimes that call to action is just there on the bottom of the page, because it by the time you finish reading, you already made up your mind. All right. So hopefully this is helpful and that will give you an idea of how to create your content. So awareness, it could be something that's very inspirational, like doing a video like this, right? Just share exactly what is it that you do, where can people find you, and who do you help. The I help statement is helpful, especially when you are going around on social media and you wanted to introduce yourself. Take the opportunity to introduce yourself and who do you help, how do you help, and what is it that you do for people, and where can people find you. So that's the initial, like, inspiration and introduction, and also initial tips, right? If you go to the group, you wanted to offer value, so go through these groups that you hang out, your audience would hang out, and go through and commenting on the post so that people would start noticing you. The second phase is the consideration phase, where you start inviting people in. You talk about your personal stories of how you overcome your struggles, and perhaps you can add in some values by providing some ebooks, worksheets, or any guides, template, checklists. All these are great content that you can share with your audience to entice them to want them to, follow you some more. And then the last piece is about making that decision process, that making a decision to get them to do a call to action. You can do a webinar. You can do teach them how to, right, how to build mindfulness when we're feeling overwhelmed, when we're feeling burned out. So those how to and in-depth webinars or classrooms or workshop, those are great decision making call to action that you can offer to your audience once you start walking them through this journey. All right. So hopefully this is helpful. And if you're watching this as a replay, let me know if you have already done this. Maybe you have already done the awareness, the consideration, and also the decision making process. What have you noticed is not working out for you? What have you noticed that you can improve upon? Just go ahead and put that in the comment. I would love to hear from you. Tomorrow we are going to have the Brave Your Brand Challenge. Again, this is a spring class, and this week is actually today is the last day that you can sign up for the spring class. The next class will be in the summertime. I don't know exactly when I'm going to offer it yet. So if this is something that you've been wanting to do and you've been like really stuck in creating your content around your personal stories and your branding stories, then let me know. I would be more than happy to walk you through what is it that we do in the Brave Your Brand Challenge. And the card will be closing tonight at midnight. So if you're interested and this sounds like something that you want to do, feel free to send me a DM, and I would be more than happy to walk you through what are we doing for the next 5 days. I do ask someone to be, if you considering to sign up, I do ask your commitment for the next 5 days. So if you're a busy schedule, or if you've been slacking, or if you've been procrastinating, I want to actually encourage you to think about it, right? Can you commit for the next 5 days every day for the very least, 1 hour of group session with me. And then on top of that, you have to do a lot of homework, and there's actually modules that you have to go through and watch. So can you and are you able to commit yourself for the next 5 days, 5 consecutive days, to go through this journey with me? If for any reason that you don't believe so, then don't sign up. Don't sign up. I'm telling you this ahead of time because it is intense. It takes a lot of work, which is why I only want the committed individuals to sign up to the challenge, because we are going to spend a lot of time together. We're going to talk about your niche, your target audience, and how do you create these stories and put them into a more cohesive way that you can share moving forward. I can't possibly share everything with you for the next 5 days, but I'm going to share at the very least, the framework and at least one of the core stories that you can start using for your coaching business. So if it sounds like something that you want to do, go ahead and go visit braveyourbrand.com, and then just go ahead and sign up. I am closing the call at midnight. With that said, my friends, that is what we talked about today, the buyer's journey and why do you need it as a coach. And hopefully I've also given you some idea of what type of content that you can create for each different stages of the buyer's journey. And hopefully you will use it, and you no longer have to be so stressed out about why no one clicking on that discovery call button, or why do I get all of these wrong clients, uncommitted, and they don't want to pay me type of clients? How much longer do I have to do the free pro bono work? Hopefully that will eliminate a lot of that because you're following through this process of awareness, consideration, and decision making stage of a buyer's journey. Okay, I will see you next time on my next live. Bye, everyone.